Hi, my name is Noura. In this work, we explore a set of privacy norms for smart home personal assistants. To give a background context into our study, the adoption of smart home personal assistants, also known as SPAs, have increased over the years, with more than 200 million units sold in the year 2020. SPAs have a complex ecosystem, from users to SPA cloud service providers to third-party skill providers. For example, once a user makes a request such as "Alexa, play my favorite music," the speaker records the request and sends it to the Amazon cloud, where it's processed to understand what the user wants so that the etiquette third-party skill like Spotify is chosen, and the command is sent to the server for this specific request, then back to the speaker. There are over 100,000 third-party skills in Amazon Alexa, offering voice-based servers for music, weather, banking, and shopping, and many more others. This unfortunately makes the flow of information complicated, as it involves many stakeholders. Therefore, it's important to have a clear understanding of the acceptable flows of information to protect users' data. Our study is the first to explore the acceptability of information flows across the SPA ecosystem, as most prior studies tend to focus on the smart speaker part of the story without considering third-party skills. So through contextual integrity theory, we explore the acceptability of the flow of information privacy through a set of CI parameters and personal factors. We firstly elicit the privacy norms of the data flows across the SPA ecosystem based on the CI, considering different parameters that affect acceptability. We then study the influence that the CI parameters and personal factors have on the privacy norms. We then identify similarities between the elicited privacy norms based on the CI parameters and data flows acceptability to distill more general privacy norms. We finally provide recommendations for SPA and third-party skill providers based on the privacy norms studied. So in terms of our method, we conducted a large-scale study involving 1,700 participants, exploring the acceptability of information flows through CI theory. We test the effects of different parameters such as recipients of information and personal factors. In total, we studied 120 scenarios across 15 different data types. This table shows the summary of the CI parameters we consider, with the recipient covering the different stakeholders across the SPA ecosystem. A detailed description of the CI parameters is highlighted in the paper. This figure represents the acceptability of information for user recipients. Acceptability of data types with user recipients seems to be related to the sensitivity of data type, recipient type, and purpose. As shown, data types, email, and banking are highly sensitive with low acceptability. The figure for the non-user's recipient is highlighted in the paper. We conducted binary logistic regression through forward stepwise method. CI parameters and personal factors play an important role to determine whether a flow is considered acceptable or not acceptable. To summarize, recipient type, data type, and personal factors such as IUPAC scale are highly influential in acceptability of information flows. We were also very interested in exploring the possibility of having smaller, more general subset of privacy norms that would hold across scenarios. Our aim was to find which contexts in the SPA ecosystem are similar and have the same acceptability. To this aim, we implemented data mining technique, to be specific, association rule mining, to elicit subset of more abstract and general privacy norms in the SPA ecosystem. The details of the method are in the paper. We next show some of the rules that we have mined. So for the user recipient model, we've mined in total 11 rules, as shown R1 and R2. R1 shows that it's unacceptable to share information with close friends when no purpose is given, and R2 shows that when information is shared with recipient is seen to be acceptable. For the non-user recipient, R3 and R5 show two different rules. So for data type banking, it's unacceptable. However, it's unacceptable, and recipient non-relevant skill is also unacceptable. Therefore, SPA providers should not allow those information flows that are unacceptable as default settings. So to conclude, for user recipients, more trusted and close relationships result in high acceptability. However, other key aspects include the data type being asked and transmission principles. When it comes to third-party skills, a non-relevant skill collect information is unacceptable. That is, users clearly see a third-party skill should only collect data clearly related to what service is being offered. The association rule mined can be very useful for SPA providers to establish default privacy settings to avoid the burden for users to configure privacy settings while respecting the privacy norms of users. Beyond default, there is of course also some space for semi-automated dynamic privacy settings, as we observed variability in some cases depending on the context and personal factors. We give more details of the discussion in our paper. Thank you for listening.